Hey everyone. When I started using pixel controllers way back when, like you, problem after problem, but you figure these things out as you go. But one of those problems was, how do I get pixel data, 100, 200, 300 feet from my controller? And the answer to that, of course now that we know better, is differential receivers. But I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of tired of dealing with differential receivers. Tired of the X-Likes configuration required, and right now I'd probably honestly just throw a second controller out at the prop and be done with it. But I deal with beginners all the time here on this channel, and not only does your controller really need to have a dedicated differential port, but multiple differential ports and controllers could be intimidating for beginners. Full differential receiver setups, it can all be very, very, very intimidating. So if you've got one prop that's off on its own, several hundred feet from the rest of your show, and you don't want to run a whole second controller, I think I found an answer, a practical and cost-effective solution to do that for a beginner. This is the Diff2Go pair. It's a pair of very small boards consisting of a transmitter and a receiver. The transmitter is this little board right here. It takes pixel data from any single port on any controller, WLED, ES Pixel Stick, FPP, Falcon, whatever you're running, and converts it to a differential signal using a MAX 485 serial chip. That lets the data travel over 300 feet via standard Ethernet cable. And again, it works with any controller as long as it doesn't have a clock line. So WS2811, 2812, SK6812, whatever, you're covered. One thing you do need to worry about before you set it up is just make sure that this jumper, you can see there's options for 5 and 12 volt. That needs to match the voltage of the power supply providing power for your controller. And that's because the transmitter will receive power via the cable connecting it to the controller. This is the receiver, very similar device. This is going to be out at your prop. This will take that differential signal from the transmitter that's coming in over the Ethernet cable and convert it back to standard pixel data and send that data out to your prop. It's important to note that no power actually travels along this Ethernet cable. It's data only. So the receiver is going to need its own power supply out at the prop, which is why I've connected some power here. The nice thing is it doesn't need to be the same voltage as your controller and the lights connected to it. You just need to set this jumper to match the voltage of your power supply connected to the receiver and your lights. So, putting it all together, you're going to connect your transmitter to your controller. Then your transmitter is going to have an Ethernet cable plugged into it here, and the other end of the Ethernet cable, up to 300 feet away, is going to plug into your receiver. The receiver has its own power, and your prop will be plugged into the receiver. I'm going to run through those steps again real quick. As you can tell, I've got some basic effects running on port 4 of my Diff2Go. We're going to disconnect those right now. With the differential receiver pair, I include this small jumper cable, which will allow you to connect that output, again, as long as it's 3-pin, to your differential transmitter. You can see that powered right up. It receives power from the controller. Let's plug in the Ethernet cable. Now, Ethernet cable is going to go wherever it needs to go, and the other end is going to plug into the receiver. Note that that did not power up because our power is still unplugged. We need separate power for the receiver, which I will set up here once I connect my lights to it. And find my power cable. There we go. That's it. No configuration, no firmware, no drivers. It just works. Taking any port on any controller and turning it into a differential port. This Diff2Go sells as a matched pair again with the jumper cable. It costs $34.99 at rgb2go.com. You supply the Ethernet cable and the power for the receiver, and that's it. And again, if I've got more than one distant prop, I'm probably reaching for a second controller. But for that one lonely prop way at the end of a driveway, this is the way to go. So, the link's in the description. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Let's get those pixels blinking.